think I kind of took an easy way out. I like Jay's lesson much better than I like mine. I was studying, because I'm kind of overseeing the outreach stuff, so I was trying to come up with a way that we could use this to help us better in outreach, in our outreach activities. And so instead of me making outreach fit what we've been talking about, I made what we've been talking about fit our outreach, because that's what I've been studying on, to try to get better at those. So this morning as I talk, we're gonna keep these things in mind: the sharing, connecting, growing, serving, and worship, because these are all very important things that we need, and just going forward in outreach. And I noticed a few things on Friday when we had our movie night outreach, that ideas that we could maybe that worked and some that didn't, and so I'm just going to kind of go from there, and we'll see how this turns out. The first thing that I want to talk about is that there's 7 key items to effective outreach. The first thing is that we need to be a team. God has not called the individual Christian to go it alone in an effort to influence and reach the lost for Christ. He has equipped the entire church as a team where we all play different roles. We use our individual gifts to fulfill the Great Commission that was given to us in Ephesians, the 4th chapter, verse 16. This is kind of like with the connecting, like what Jay was talking about. When we work together as a team and we work together to reach a certain goal, then things seem to work much more smooth, because in past times we've had one person planning something, or 2 people planning something, and maybe they're going in different directions, but they never connect, they never share. So in order for something to be effective, we all have to work together and connect on those terms. The next one is the relationships. The majority of people do not come to church seeking to become more spiritual or to get saved. They come to connect with others. There was a TV show, Cheers, and in their theme song, part of it said, "A place where everybody knows their name and everybody's glad they came." The fact remains that more relationships a person has within the church, the more apt they are to join the church, and less apt they are to leave the church. Research has shown that 86% of church attendees are there at the invitation of a friend or relative. Therefore, we must develop a system that equips people to intentionally develop trusting relationships with as many people as possible. Again, we need to connect, we need to share, we need to make sure that we're doing our part in our community to reach people, to let them know that we serve God, that we are here for them, that we're here to help them in whatever way they need, spiritually or physically, as Jay talked about with just doing stuff for people. It's a great thing to be able to help someone, to have that ability, and there are a lot of people that don't have that ability. The next thing is saturation. Saturation never settles for the status quo, but is going that extra mile. It's persistent. Saturation creates synergy. Synergy says that the combined effort is greater than the sum of the individual effort. It says that 2 + 2 = 6. Therefore, each effort that we have in evangelizing, we must attempt to saturate, to just get as many people involved, to talk to as many people as possible. I noticed something this on Friday night. I hope I don't embarrass Roger, but when he was standing out front, and even right up before the barbecue started and the movie started, he was inviting people to come in. I heard him invite at least 5 different people to come in, and 3 of the young ladies did come in and join us for the barbecue. And it's at that point that we need to do the next part and talk to them and connect with them. But I think it's a great thing, and all of us, I think all of us really worked together at this time to get people involved, to get people to know that we were having a function going on, that we were doing something to spread the gospel. And as we do more outreach things, then I think we'll get better at it, and I think that we will. I'll use the word rooted just to throw it in there, but we'll become more rooted in what we're doing, and we'll I think it'll grow immensely. The next thing is presentation. In order to be saved at one point or another, an individual must hear the gospel and have an opportunity to respond to it. This can be done through many forms: an invitation at the end of the sermon, sharing one's testimony, a tract, audio or videotape, Bible studies, or one-on-one conversations. Therefore, it's necessary for every Christian to be equipped to effectively share their testimony and a verbal witness of the gospel. This is the growing part. And when I talked on the Sunday morning, I got to talk about growing and how important it is that we learn as much as we can about the Bible, because there's nothing more, I don't know if embarrassing is the word, but to me it's embarrassing when I talk to somebody about Christ and they ask me a question and I don't have the answer. And it might be a simple question. It might be something that maybe I've known, but I just can't come up with it. But being rooted and growing and learning is always key to helping people, because in any job or anything that we do, if we try to convert somebody to that and we don't know how to teach them how to do it, they're going to lose interest real fast. So it's important to have that growth and to have that knowledge so that we can talk to others about Christ. Those girls that came in Friday, I don't know if anyone got a chance. I didn't, but if they did, did we mention what the church is about? Things like that. That being rooted will I think sometimes the direction of the conversation will go that way automatically. The next thing is to be intentional. Most of these relationship building things above come naturally to new Christians because of their excitement. But as Christians grow older, we tend to become complacent in the Lord and gradually quit doing them. Thus our churches quit growing. To get Christians growing again, or keeping them growing to begin with, we must start looking at the types of things we used to do, the things that used to come natural to us when we were new Christians and excited Christians, and commit ourselves to doing those things again intentionally, rather than it's funny when you're new at something, it's so exciting. You start to tell everybody about it, when as time goes, you find what works best for you, and you just kind of stick with that. And we tend to lose some of that excitement, and that's what I think we need to do, is to gain that excitement back that we had in our lives, that as when we were first Christians. You look at these kids, and I don't know, I think all of the kids invited most of their friends to come to them, or to come with them to the movie night. And there were a lot of kids here that were here from our friends, our kids' friends, and that's how we're going to meet. That's how we're going to meet families. That's how we're going to influence people, is through our kids. We've talked about that a lot. And I think that when we see our kids inviting people, I think it kind of shames us, because I was in charge of the thing, and I don't think I invited one single person. And that's sad, because I thought, well, my kids are doing it, so, it kind of takes that load off of me. But it was sad. I may have shared it with a few people that we were doing it, but I didn't outwardly go out and seek to bring people here, and that's kind of where I'm talking about with we kind of lose that zeal for doing things. The next thing, if I can get rid of that off my screen, the next thing is that there are many different schools of thought, strategies, tactics, programs, plans, philosophies, and ideas on how to do outreach, how to reach people in our community. Some of them might be very effective in some congregations, while those things that are effective in other congregations, they may not work here. We've tried a lot of different things over the years to reach people, and some of them are just complete busts, and some of them we have success with. But unless we try something, we're not going to know if it works or not. Just because someone says, well, this doesn't work, and they tried it in a different area, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work here. So part of it is experimenting and seeing what does and doesn't work. The next thing is excitement. I think it's the last thing too. Excitement builds a church. When people get excited about what's happening in their lives and in the church, they can't keep it to themselves. When they share that excitement with others, it attracts people to them and to the church. Just as I was saying with the kids and their excitement for, I don't know. It just seemed like the kids were so excited about this, and we have to share in that excitement. We have to become just as excited with sharing the gospel in whatever way it is, whether it's a movie night or a barbecue or just a Bible study. We have to have that same excitement that our kids had in bringing their friends to the church. We have to share in that excitement, because if we don't, then people are just going to lose interest because they don't feel like we're interested enough in it to be excited. So that's what I've got. And now it's Matt's turn.